Good morning, everybody. It's 10 a.m. It's time for Lit Lattes. My little light on my camera just popped on and it made me laugh. So we have a lot to talk about today. So we're just gonna jump right into it. I'm Ariel. I'm the public services librarian. If there's anyone new on here today, we have a little morning show about books, and today we have Miss Kathryn on, and she's gonna talk a little bit about our new youth books. So good morning, Kathryn. How are ya?
Good morning, Ariel. I'm doing fine. How are you?
I am most excellent.
And get ready for the new year with some new releases.
Yes, Happy New Year. It's been quite some time.
It has been.
Yes,
it really has.
It has. It has been.
It was wild. December didn't happen. I think we had this conversation.
Yeah, it didn't. Some of the kids in my Afternoon Adventures program this past Wednesday were talking to me, and they were telling me things they got from Santa. And I said, "Oh, Santa!" Like, it felt like it was a year ago that Christmas happened. So it was really interesting. It was like, "Oh yeah, tell me about Santa." So yeah, it's definitely been some time, and it's time for new books at the library. We have a lot coming out in January. January has been quite a month for new releases. So I'm going to talk about a few of them, but believe me, this is only a few of them. I mean, I had a list of like 60 books. so this is just a little selection that I pulled out for you guys. So are we ready to hear about them?
Heck yeah.
Okay. All right, the first one we're going to talk about today is these ones that I'm going to be talking about are picture books. So this is called Eyes That Kiss in the Corners. It's by Joanna Ho. I'm sorry I don't actually have any of the books with me today to show you the covers, but that's because they're actually not out yet. They will be out in the middle to the end of January. So you can put them on hold now. If you're curious, you can go to the County Library Systems catalog and put them on hold because they have been purchased, but we just don't have them yet. So this one's called Eyes That
Sneak Peek.
Yes. So Eyes That Kiss in the Corners by Joanna Ho is about a young Asian girl who notices that her eyes look different than her peers and her classmates and her friends. And she realizes that her eyes are just like her mother's and her grandmother's and her little sisters, and that they kiss in the corners and they glow like tea and or warm like tea. And it's a book about embracing who you are and what makes you different from others as well. And it's honestly one of the first books I've seen that is has an Asian girl as a main character that talks about herself and expressing who she is and her culture and accepting that. And it's really great and it's really sweet. And I've been following the author on Instagram, and she constantly is posting about it and how excited she is and that she wishes she had something like that when she was a young girl. So it's a really great one that's coming out. So the next one that I want to talk about is called The Aquanaut by Jill Heiner. This is about a young girl who she feels like she's too young and too little and too far away from the dreams that she has. But she's decided that it's never too late to grab your dreams and go for them. So she decides, what if her bedroom is a space station? Or what would it be like to have flippers or tusks? And she dreams and uses her imagination to reach those dreams and goals that she has, even though she's too little still. So it's a really good one as well. If you want to talk and discuss with your kids their dreams and what they aspire to be in the future, it's a really nice one to open that conversation. So another book that we are ordering, this one is actually not a new one, but this has been out for a few years. This is called Some Bunny to Talk To by Cheryl Sterling. Cheryl Sterling has her PhD, and she is a therapist herself. And this book is talking about what it means to go to therapy for a child. If you think that, especially during these hard times, that your child might need someone to talk to, Some Bunny to Talk To goes into what therapy is, how to, the comforts that you will get from it, and that you don't always have to go to therapy. It's not a forever thing. So it's a really good one. If you feel like that's a discussion you need to, bring up with your child, or if they actually bring it up to you. So there's a good one. And actually, I want to say thanks to the mom who told me recently that we didn't have a lot of books on therapy, and she was trying to find one for her son. And it made me think and made me really look into the collection and see that, she was right. We didn't have any. So we actually have quite a few books coming out that talk about that topic. So that's just one of them. So the next one that I want to talk about is called Bear Island. This is a new one by Matthew Cordell. This is a book about loss and accepting that things happen and that times change. And it's about Louise and her family. They just lost their dog, Charlie, and Louise is adamant that life will never be the same. So they decide to visit an island that Charlie loved. And while they're there, Louise meets a bear. And at first she's afraid of the bear. And, she realizes the bear is sad just like her. And eventually she, talks with the bear and, figures out that loss isn't forever. And, you have
feel like
memories
she actually
and
prepares for
things
this,
like
and I
that.
just go and I'm like,
Ariel, we can hear you.
Oh, great.
So, so that is what Bear Island is about. So if you need a book, we have quite a few books on loss. This one is a new one about loss of a pet. We have a few of books about that, but this one I think is a really great new one out there. So that's what we have for picture books. Like I said, we have tons of new picture books coming out. These are just some of them. So moving on to juvenile fiction, we have The World Between Blinks by Amy Kaufman and Ryan Graudine. The World Between Blinks is a really exciting new series that is coming out. I love fantasy series. This is just another one, another fantasy series that's coming out. This is about cousins Jake and Marisol, who, whenever they get together, adventure always follows them. They have their late Nana to thank for that. So they always go on epic trips and adventures whenever they're together. So they decide one summer when the whole family comes together at their vacation home that they're going to go on another extraordinary trip. They visit a lighthouse that is nearby where they are, and they accidentally slip into another world. So the world between blinks is what this world is called, and it is a magical place where all sorts of lost things can be found and people wind up. So it's a really fun new series. I definitely recommend it because there's going to be, they look into things like Amelia Earhart and her lost plane and, the fabled city of Atlantis. So it's a really fun one, especially if you like those conspiracy theories or, trying to figure out these mysteries of the world that, a lot of people think about today. I mean, I know when I was a kid, I was obsessed with Amelia Earhart. So this is definitely on the top of my list. And you're never too old to read juvenile fiction. So the next one is called Ghosted by Michael Fry. This one is, it's a funny new one that's coming out, but it also has that a bit of sadness to it. So Larry is in middle school, and one day he all of a sudden sees his friend who is a ghost, and his friend's name is Grim, and he was his best friend in the whole world. One day Grim was in a tree trying to save a cat in a lightning storm, and then the next day he was a ghost. So of course you can see where this one is going. However, Larry's not ready to quite give up his friend, and Grim is not quite ready to either, but they figure out that there's something keeping Grim to this world, and they decide to do like a ghost to-do list, a bucket list, and they pull off all these pranks and everything throughout the book. And of course, in the end, they find out that, one of the biggest fears that they both have is letting go. So we'll see where that ending goes. But that is also a new book that's coming out. So if you're interested, that is called Ghosted by Michael Fry. Another one that's coming out, and the last juvenile fiction book we're going to be talking about is called City of the Plague God by Sawat Chadha. This is a book very similar to the Percy Jackson series, Magnus Chase series. And it is, a Rick Riordan Presents book, if you've seen those at the library or in stores. It's just endorsed by Rick Riordan and, under his name. But it is by Sawat Chada. It is an adventure based on ancient Mesopotamian mythology. And it has Muslim heroes in it. And it's definitely, if your child likes Percy Jackson series or has been looking for a new series like that, this is the first in it. This is about 13-year-old Sick who wants a simple life, going to school and helping his parents at his parents' deli. However, one day that is all blown to smithereens, and when Nurgle comes looking for him and thinks that Sick holds, the secret to eternal life. So it goes from there. And again, it's the first in a new series. So if you're interested in that, please pick that up. The last two books we're going to be talking about are young adult books. The first one is called The Cousins by Karen Mcmanus. This is written by the same author who wrote One of Us is Lying, which was a big hit a few years ago. This is about, of course, cousins, Millie, Aubrey, and Jonah Story, who are related, but they actually don't know much about each other. And they've never even met their grandmother, who is a recluse and was disinherited by the cousins' parents years ago, before they were even born. They receive a letter from her inviting them to her home one summer, or her island resort, I should say, one summer. And of course, they are surprised and curious. The parents really don't want them to go, but they do go eventually, maybe not with their parents' permission. And of course, this entire book finally pulls out all those secrets of the past, why their grandmother was disowned. And if you like mysteries and secrets, covering them, that might be a good one for you. So the last one is the book I'm most excited about coming out. It's called City of Villains by Estelle Lore. And I really like how they put this. When I was purchasing the book, it's called Disney Villains Meet Gotham, and this gritty fairy tale inspired crime series. So I really love Disney. I loved this since I was a kid. And this just reimagines Disney villains in a Gotham-like setting. So it talks about magic and people who don't want magic. And there's like two teams, there's magicalists and naturalists, and whose team are you on, essentially. And but the main story is about Mary Elizabeth. She's 15 years old. 2 years before the book started, a big catastrophe happened in the town called the Fall. And the Fall was a massive 160-story building just disappeared. 3,000 residents inside disappeared with it, including Mary's family. So now she's working at the crime station. She's, essentially helping out at the desk, and she starts, somebody comes in and she starts kind of helping them uncover the crime and the secret of, their issue, but of a missing girl from a rich family. But along the way, she starts to find out what exactly happened with the Fall. So those are, that's the one I'm most excited about. So please put it on hold first before I do. So that's all I have for today. Like I said, we have tons. This is just a sneak peek on what's coming. So please feel free to, keep checking the library. But also, if you ever wanted to ask me what's new for kids, please send me an email or message us on Facebook or call the library, and I am happy to help. So thank you, Ariel, for inviting me today.
Kathryn, it's always so good. And I didn't realize that I had to mute myself. It's fine. But I was just telling Bridget that you make me want to read everything that you talk about, that you're so good at this. And unfortunately, I guess I can make my little announcement now that unfortunately, I will be leaving next month. My fiance and I are moving out of state, and maybe we can convince Kathryn to do this. I know she is very busy and she has a very busy schedule, but maybe she can do a once a month kind of thing and talk about this, because she's just so good at this and at this. But yeah, that was great. I can't wait to read that last book that you talked about. That sounds so fun.
Well, thank you. And we will miss you, Ariel. Definitely. I know I will, and Bridget will, and definitely our patrons. So, who knows? Maybe I will. I am a little busy though.
Yes, you are very busy. I don't think a weekly thing would be good for you in your very busy schedule, but maybe here and there we can sprinkle.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you so much. And I will we'll be on here again, I'm sure.
Yeah. My last show will be probably my last day here, so February 19th, and I think we'll get you on here a couple more times, hopefully.
Sure thing.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
All right. So, instead of me just showing you a great big stack of new releases, because I always feel like there's a ton of glare, we're just going to pop the little books up. I don't know which side Bridget does it on, but yeah, it's a little better so you can, better see the cover. So our new releases for this week, the first one that we're going to talk about is The Night of the Fire by Chell Eriksen. It's spelled differently, but I looked it up and it is Chell, but it's spelled Kjell. In this, police inspector Anne Lindell has left the Uppsala police and is living a quiet life producing local cheese in a local town in Upland. But life in the country is not as idyllic as it seems. On New Year's Eve, someone sets a fire to the former village school, which is now home for asylum seekers, and 3 people are killed. Anne Lindell's investigative instincts come back to life, and soon she takes on the case. She is contacted by a person who's been involved in a previous investigation and who wants to warn her. His message is short and clear. Many will die. A few weeks later, a bomb explodes in a suburb of Stockholm. Ugh, that gave me chills. That sounds super good, and I do believe that is a mystery, so that's probably why. The next book sounds very interesting. It's called Crosshairs by Kathryn Hernandez, and it's set in a terrifyingly familiar near future with massive floods leading to rampant homelessness and devastation. A government-sanctioned regime called the Boots seizes on the opportunity to round up communities of color, the disabled, and the LGBTQ+ into labor camps. In the shadows, a new hero emerges. This makes me so happy. After he loses his livelihood as a drag queen, that doesn't make me happy, but I like that the main character is a drag queen. And the love of his life, Kay, joins the resistance along Batadur, a trans-masculine refugee, and Fereza, a headstrong social worker. Guiding them in the use of weapons and close-quarter combat is Beck, a rogue army officer who helps them plan an uprising at a major televised international event. That sounds so good. I want to read it today. The next one is a historical fiction, so we all know that just makes my heart happy. Is The War Widow by Tara Moss. I love the cover of this. Just 40s fashion makes my heart burst. But this book is about Billy Walker, and I guess it's the first in a series, the Billy Walker series. But she is she's coming back to Sydney, Australia, as a war correspondent. Her husband has disappeared in Europe, and when she returns to Sydney, she takes over her deceased father's private investigation agency. At first, Billy's bread and butter is tailing cheating husbands. Then a young man, the son of European immigrants, goes missing, and Billy finds herself on a dangerous new trail that will lead up into the highest levels of Sydney society and down into its underworld. What is the young man's connection to an exclusive dance club and a high-class auction house? When the people Billy question about the young man start to turn up dead, Billy is thrown into the path of inspector. I cannot read today, so that's really great for us. His name is Hank Cooper. Will he take her seriously, or will he just get in her way? As the danger mounts and Billy realizes that much more than one young man's life is at stake, it becomes clear that though the war is won, it is far from over. I like the description of this next book. It's Take It Back by Kia Abdullah. It's a shocking, twisting courtroom thriller that keeps you guessing until the last page is turned. The victim is Jody Wolf. A physically flawed 16-year-old girl accuses 4 boys in her class of something unthinkable. The defendants, 4 handsome teenagers from hardworking immigrant families, all with corroborating stories. The savior is Zara Khalil, a former lawyer, one of London's brightest legal minds, who takes on the case. She believes her client, even though those closest to her do not. And together they enter the most explosive criminal trial of the year, where the only thing that matters is justice for Jody. But this time, justice comes at a devastating cost. I've heard a lot about this book. It pops up a lot. It's supposed to be one of the best books of 2021, so you're probably going to want to read that. The last fiction book I'm going to talk about is You Will Never Know by S.A. Prentice. This sounds very interesting, and I want to know what the twist in this book is about. But after a lifetime of hardship, Jessica Thornton finally has a life she's dreamed of: a new marriage to a realtor with burgeoning success, a daughter whose athleticism has won her a scholarship to college, and a freshly secured grant from her bank to finally complete her own higher education. But after the murder of her children's high school classmate, a series of disturbances brings Jessica to question whether her dreams even actually came true, or whether they've just been delusions all along. Excuse me. In the days after the murder, suspicion creeps in at every corner, beginning with Jessica's daughter and stepson, who won't tell her where they were on that fateful night. Then she discovers that her husband's business is failing, not growing, and that the stories he told of meetings with high-powered investors were nothing more than lies. And when a private investigator comes to look into the death of her first husband, her last foundation of truth slips suddenly away. Drama. So much drama. Perhaps maybe the theme of this is private investigators. Seems like there's a lot of shady stuff going on. We grabbed a couple of nonfiction that came rolling through this week. I got this book because I think it's like really important, and I don't want to say all millennials feel this way, but I know probably a good chunk of us do. The next book is Broke Millennial Talks Money by Erin Lowry. She has a blog, she has other books. But in this user-friendly and approachable guide, finance writer Erin Lowry helps take the stress out of these tricky conversations with scripts, always important, tips, and troubleshooting advice. She takes you through every possible money talk scenario, including how to tell your friends you can't afford the same lifestyle they can, how to ask your parents if they can afford retirement and if they'll need your support as they age, how to talk to your coworkers about your salary and negotiate with your boss, and how to broach the subject of a prenup with your fiance. She armed you with all the financial knowledge you'll need in order to get the most out of each interaction, whether that's with your friends, your spouse, your employer, or your mom. So big that one up before I do. This next book, I am so excited to have it. Eleanor Roosevelt is one of my favorite people of all time. Absolutely golden. So this new first single volume by David Michaelis gives you an account from cradle to grave in 6 decades. Acclaimed biographer David delivers a stunning account of Eleanor Roosevelt's remarkable life of transformation. An orphan niece of President Teddy Roosevelt, she converted her Gilded Age childhood of denial and secrecy into an irreconcilable marriage with her ambitious 5th cousin, Franklin. Despite their inability to make each other happy, Franklin Roosevelt transformed Eleanor into a settlement house volunteer on New York's Lower East Side into a matching partner in New York's most important power couple in a generation. Perhaps still one of the greatest power couples, even though they weren't together. They did some really great things. Perhaps maybe her more so. Bridget and I were joking about this next book and our last book, so you don't have to listen to me ramble on. But we have just kidding. It's HRH by Elizabeth Holmes and Her Royal Highness. This takes you through 4 generations of absolute queens. Well, I guess really 3, since Meghan and oh my gosh, what is the other one's name? Who's married to she's Rastus. Why am I having a serious moment? Kate. Her name's Kate. I'll get there. Right. So it's just, I think, all about fashion, and Diana was an absolute icon when it came to that. Also, and I'm gonna plug our book club again. This month we're reading The Gown, so of course they have the pictures of here and that. Can everyone see that okay? So this is the gown that the book is based on, and how it was very hush hush, and it's more of the friendships that were made, but it's a super great story. So there is that. I'd get it just to look at the pictures. It's very beautiful. All right. Lastly, I'm going to talk about what I've read this week. I know I talked a little bit last week how I was just about to finish Jacqueline Winspear's Journey to Munich, which is a Maisie Dobbs book. It's the first one I read, and it's also the 12th one. As a mystery lover, I think I gave it a 3 on Goodreads. It didn't really wow me. I thought it was kind of slow and a little boring. But if you are a fan of Maisie Dobbs, tell me what book to read. That will change my mind, and I will read it. But it was meh. I think because if I finish a book, I think oh, I must have loved it. So now I'm becoming hypercritical of a lot of things. And I think probably this is why I only gave it a 3. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about this in the interview that we did with Summer, but I am 34 years old. Harry Potter came out when I was 11. I am now just reading the Harry Potter books, and I feel like you can't tell that to people. You can't tell people that you haven't read Harry Potter. But I listened to the first book, and honestly, I thought it was just like the movie, and that will probably offend people. I don't remember the movie super well, but all the parts that came up in the book, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that scene. I did like it. And all 7 books are on Hoopla, so I will continue through that so I can no longer be a fake. And I can be in the cool crowd and not lurking in the shadows. I love Harry Potter. I love the idea of Harry Potter. I've been to King's Cross. I did the fun little photo as you're going in the wall with my Ravenclaw scarf. But now I can be a real Harry Potter fan now that I'm reading the books. The last book, it's J.K. Rowling week, and it kills me a little inside. But my other book club chose The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, which is J.K. Rowling's pen name. I guess she wanted to see if she could write something other than Harry Potter. It's very different from Harry Potter. I kind of think her use of swear words in this book is comical. Perhaps that's just me. But it's the first in the CB Strike series. The 5th one just came out. I think this one came out in 2014 or 2016. somewhere in that time. It's good. It's very long. I think it's about 500 pages. I'll finish it tonight. At first I was like, this is going to be very drawn out, but it's actually pretty good. So CB Strike has to investigate a suicide, which is thought to be by this woman's brother, a homicide. So he's just trying to do all the background work. The characters are interesting. The side characters are interesting. I don't think he's very interesting. Robin seems kind of normal. And it's okay. I don't know if I'll read anything else in the series. But that's about it. I think I'm about to read Lisa Jewell's, I love her, Invisible Girl. Just got that on audiobook here at the library. I'm very excited to read that. Also more stuff. We have a huge selection of new large print books, a lot of like newer titles, so come in and get that. I think we just got Jodi Picoult's The Book of Two Ways, and Jerry Seinfeld's Is This Anything, also on large print. So come on in and get some. So I'll just preface this interview with, for some reason, when I was recording my interview with Summer last night, it just kind of cut us off. But it was towards the end, and we were just wrapping it up. So she says goodbye at the end. So yeah, roll the tape.
So, like, who was some of your favorite? All right, so today we have our dearest clerk, not dearest, they're all dear. I never know what to say. It's fine, everything's fine. We have a today, her name is Summer, and she is an avid reader. We're just gonna talk about some books. So, did you like to read as a kid? I didn't.
Yeah, like when I was like just starting off reading, like 10, you know, around that age. And then like as a teenager, I did not. But like when I was like, I don't know, young adult, I liked, no, maybe like 8 to like 13, I like to read.
What did you like to read?
American Girl when I was like younger, obsessed.
I feel like we don't talk about a lot of American Girl, and I think they're so important. Who was your favorite American Girl?
Which one do you think?
Oh, out of the classic ones?
Yeah.
Samantha.
Oh my God, loved her, but Kristen. Because she had the long blonde hair with the braids, and I used to like do that with my hair.
That was the first, no one is going to believe me, but that was the first one that popped in my head, and I was like, I don't know her name. But like, I could see, like, her Christmas book was my favorite.
Yep.
Gosh, so Samantha was mine, and so
I loved Samantha. She was so classy.
She was, and I loved her like afternoon teas with like the little petite fours. I don't know why I remember that, but I loved that. And Felicity, because I was obsessed with the Revolutionary War for a period of time in my life.
Felicity. Oh, I loved them all.
So good.
Yeah. So good. And I read Babysitter's Club. And Goosebumps. I used to love Goosebumps.
So good. Every time I see them come across, because they're still, I don't know if R.L. Stine is still writing them. Sorry, it's very, very chilly in this study today. I don't know if he's still writing them, but they come across and I'm like, oh, I want to order that so bad, but that's Kathryn.
She needs to order them. They're so good.
I love Goosebumps.
I got to start reading them again because my son is now like at that age, so we read them.
Oh my God, I love it so much.
Yeah.
So, what do you like to read now? Like, I kind of know, but I feel like I only skim the very small surface because I only see you for a limited amount of time.
Right. I like to read everything. But my favorite's probably, believe it or not, like nonfiction biographies. I know. Everybody's like, she's probably a romance girl. And I really enjoy a good biography.
Mm-hmm.
So,
We just talked about one. This is weird because obviously we're doing this Thursday night because you are a very busy mom.
yes.
And 10 o'clock doesn't work for everybody. So it's weird talking in the present about something that's going to happen tomorrow, but we've already technically talked about it. I cannot wait to read this. She is my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Is that brand new? Did you just get it in?
Brand spanking new. I stole it from Emily before it went downstairs, so.
Nice.
So excited. So, like, who was some of your favorite stories? I know you just read Untamed and loved it.
I really like stories about like traumatic childhoods. I know that sounds really weird.
How we grow.
I loved Educated, The Glass Castle. There was actually another one that I just read called Spilled Milk. And I learned about it through TikTok, and that was really good.
TikTok is not just for dances, everybody.
Exactly.
We love TikTok so much, it brings us a lot of joy.
We
And
really
library and TikTok is definitely a thing, so. Yep.
So yeah, and I can't wait to read the new Obama book.
We just got the second copy in today.
Okay, because I'm like position 30 right now.
I know. And it's a chunk too. Not only did we get our second copy, we just got the audiobook, which is like,
I think I would like that.
Long. I want to say it's like, now I have to know. I want to say it's like 40 hours worth of listening, but I could be wrong. It's 700 pages. Promised Land, Barack. Audiobook length. We're learning, everybody. Oh my god, it keeps changing. It's long. There's like many. It's very thick.
Yeah.
I don't have time. I know you have a very busy schedule. Gotta keep this going. So like, what are some of like your favorite authors? Is there anybody that you just like keep going back to, or
yeah?
Just...
So I actually have the book because it came in yesterday. So I've only read like 2 chapters. I read it real quick today. But my favorite author is Jodi Picoult, and this book
yes
came in for
the
me.
Book of Two Ways, is it? Yes. We just got the audiobook too, so look for it downstairs, everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm very excited about it.
And the large print. I'm doing all right with this collection development. All the hot ones, we're getting them all around. Audiobooks, library books, obviously library books. I meant large print books. It's fine. Just getting them in.
Perfect.
Serve everyone. Yeah. Jodi Picoult. I have not read any Jodi Picoult. What is the book I read first from Jodi Picoult?
The first book I ever read that like hooked me was called 19 Minutes. Now I just talked to our other clerk, Des, about her last night. Her books are not like uplifting. They're drama.
I feel like I know that.
Yeah. Like My Sister's Keeper turned into, I think, a movie. And that one was pretty rough. But they just like, they're such like page turners. I just love them. But it's not for everybody. Yeah.
I'll have to find her. What does she like typically write about? Because it just, in my head, I keep thinking of like Ann Patchett, who like writes about families.
No, she writes about like, I don't even know how to say it, like horrible situations, car accidents. 19 Minutes is about a school shooting. Hold on, babe.
Charlotte.
Hold on, can you go ask Ben? Okay, I'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, go in the other room. Okay, babe. Okay, sorry.
Real life, baby. No, it's fine. It is totally fine. I know there's lots of parents who watch this and are like, yes, this is totally normal. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
So yeah, her stories are dramatic. Yeah.
I wonder why.
They're like kind of dark too when you think about it. But I like them.
Excellent. So I love to ask this question to everyone. Are there any books that you do not like, did not finish, wanted to throw it across the room? Tell me.
I never really got into mysteries. Like, I know. They're your fave. They're your baby. And I just never got into them. And okay, this is like a deep, dark secret. I only read the first Harry Potter book.
Oh my God. So right before this, I'm going to tell everybody a deep, dark secret that I just listened to the first Harry Potter book in my many years of life.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like, really get into it. Like, I don't know.
I have the opposite. Like, I have another book that I'm trying to get through, so I can listen to the rest of them. I can't wait.
Yeah, maybe if I gave it another try.
Yeah. Plus, they're all available on Hoopla, at least the audiobook. So.
Oh, are they? Oh, that's a
yes.
Yeah, maybe I'll
1 through 7. Yes. So.
And I've never watched the movies because I've always wanted to read all the books. I've always been like, I can't watch the movies because I need to read the books.
Yeah.
And then, so I don't even know what happens.
I watched all the movies, so I was like, what's the point of reading the books? I mean, obviously they're a little different, but like, I've just played the movie through my head as I was listening to it, so people will probably disagree. And I don't know about the other books, but we'll see. But yes, just finally read Harry Potter. And I think it came out in when I was 11, and I am 34 today. So
yeah, I read it when I was when it first came out, 11 or 12. And I just never read it again. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Sometimes I pretend I have because it's like a group. Like people just expect that you have. So I'm
you can't tell people. Like I am very embarrassed right now.
Yeah.
You can't tell people that you have not read Harry Potter.
We work at a library.
No. I'm just trying to play a lot of catch up. A lot of catch up. I'm doing pretty good. I set my reading goal for 2021 for 100 books. So hopefully I can catch up and do.
How many have you read so far?
I'm just about to finish my 5th one of the year.
Oh, you're at a good pace.
Yes, I have to do 8.33333 books a month.
Nice.
Yeah, so hooray. What else? Books are so great. What are you, so you're reading that book now?
Yeah, I just started it.
What do you, what's on your to-read list?
Oh, I'm stressed out because I have so many books. So I brought them home. The Princess Diana book, the one where she wrote with, his last name's Morton. I wanted to read that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the gown.
Yeah.
So we did it for the book club, and then
there's still time.
Yeah. So that's here. I just got it last week because I hadn't been to work in a while. So that's on my list.
It's very good.
Is
very
it?
Good. Yes, it's a good story.
I'm I get stressed out when I have so many I want to read. So yeah.
Yes. Speaking of stressed out because of reading, so I grabbed this today. I love Lisa Jewell.
Oh yeah.
So much. And this book has been out. Like, it has not been in the library since all right, so
I hope you enjoyed our little talk with Summer. This has been a fairly lengthy lit latte, so I'm just going to end on an interesting in this week in history. On this very day, 486 years ago in 1535, King Henry VIII has decreed now that he is the supreme head of the Church of England, because boy did he want to marry Anne Boleyn, who he then executed 1,000 days later. I want everyone to have a really great week. And thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you again maybe next Friday. Bye.